Good morning. Today we are going to take and look at lesson 12, so lab number 12. You should start out with identifying and locating this piece of paper. You can go ahead and cross out all questions associated with number 2, and we're going to go ahead and start out with some pre-work. So you should locate your science journal and go ahead and turn to page 33. On page 33, I'd like you to go ahead and we're going to label it at the top, Lab 12, and then of course today's date. Then we are going to be looking at a first combination of food coloring and water, and we're going to be looking at what we call the observation properties. So to observe means to what? To see, to look. So this is your first substance to observe. In this test tube, I have food coloring and water. So there are some properties of liquids that you should identify. Also, you can think of its fluidity, its color, and go ahead and document those. What do you see? Again, this is food color and water. Did it mix all the way? Is it partially mixed? Do you see any substance at the bottom? Our next substance that we're going to look at is a mixture of sand and water. Sand and water, again, looking for observational or observation properties. So same idea, I have a test tube, and inside this test tube I have put together sand and water. So again, what are its observational properties? What do you notice? Do they mix well? Do they not mix well? And then go ahead and document those down. I would anticipate that you would have probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 observational properties for each of those. All right, for getting started today, we're going to be dealing with some different substances. So on this chart, you're going to go ahead and you are going to write the name of the substances going down. The first substance that we are going to work with is called sodium chloride. And so to complete this lab correctly, I would take my sodium chloride and a test tube. So here's my test tube, here's my sodium chloride. And in it, I'm going to go ahead and put in 1 scoop into the tube. Then I'm going to place about 5 centimeters of water. So I'm going to kind of measure up the tube. I'm going to bring my water to about that level right there. Again, this is just plain water mixing together. Nothing fancy about this water. NaCl, or sodium chloride. Do you remember what that's called? Salt. It's just good old-fashioned salt. Now the directions say to mix this exactly 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've mixed it. Now, again, I've got my chart, and it says after being mixed, you're going to go ahead and document what happens. So I want you to think about, is it soluble? What do you see? Write down all of those observational properties. How well did it mix? Did it mix 100%? Is it a partial mix? And then document that on your sheet. Then we'll move on to the next substance. Our second substance for today is called zinc oxide. So again, I'm going to pour in 1 scoop of our substance, zinc oxide. In it goes. And then just like before, I need 5 centimeters of water. So I put that into the container. When I place the stopper on, I'm going to gently set it on top and lightly tap, and then I'm going to hold it with my finger, and here I go. Do you remember how many times I'm supposed to mix it? Take a look at your table. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and write down my observational properties. See there at the bottom, you might identify that how well it's mixing or how well it's not. And some of the zinc oxide is pooling down at the bottom. Excellent. Moving on to our next substance, we're going to go with sulfur, S-U-L-F-U-R, sulfur. And our sulfur, you can see it comes in a powdered form, and it's yellow in color. So exact same steps as previously. I'm going to take that sulfur. I'm going to get myself 1 good scoop, not overflowing, but just 1 scoop. And then just like previously, I want again the 5 centimeters worth of water added to it. We want to find out, is our sulfur soluble? Now, thinking of our vocabulary terms, I want you to think about the solvent. I want you to think about the term solution. And again, I'm going to go ahead and mix. You can see what it looks like prior to mixing. That sulfur is floating on top. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry. Here you go. So I mixed it those 10 times. And again, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look. And I'm going to look at, again, what we call our observational properties. So again, slightly broken apart, floating on top, a couple have sunk to the bottom, kind of hard to see that. And then I'm going to set that aside. Go ahead and document. Did it dissolve? Did it not dissolve? With a yes or a no. And now I'm going to move on to what's called copper sulfate. So you can see here, this is blue in color. Kind of a pretty blue, kind of a tealy blue. Again, same exact procedure, 1 scoop. So I place that 1 scoop inside here. I measure to where the 5 centimeter mark is, hold it there with my thumb, and now I go ahead and I add in my water up to where my thumb is holding that 5 centimeter mark. Just a little bit more. Okay. And then just like I learned before, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cap it. Gently tap it on there, hold it with my finger. You can see that for right now, I see that it's pooling down at the bottom there. But let's see what happens when I mix it. How many times? 10, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So I've mixed, and there's what I see. Which is the solute? Which is the solvent? And do I have a solution? Go ahead and document all of your observational properties. Color, right? What does it look like? How well did it mix together? Do you see any sediment pooling at the bottom? I don't think so. And then now with our very last substance today. So again, I've got my last test tube. I know that I'm gonna measure, because I want 5 centimeters again of the water. So I've got my thumb marking where that's gonna be. Can you see that? And now I put in my 1 scoop. And this is called confectioner's sugar, and a fancy word for, you've used it before in your cooking probably. We use it in icing, powdered sugar. So there's my 1 scoop, get it in there, of powdered sugar. And my water. Going all the way up to that 5 centimeter mark, almost there, a little bit more. Excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cap it off. And I'm gonna mix it up, shake it up, 10 shakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a look at that. The powdered sugar, I would say, dissolved 100%. So I have a good solution here. It is completely mixed together. Again, notice the color. Our water's no longer clear, right? It does allow some light to pass through. It's not like it turned dark. Those are great observational properties. It's a liquid, so you'll notice it's taking the shape of its container. And again, what is the solute? What is the solvent? And I have a solution because it's fully mixed. Excellent. All right. So now I can come back and I can look at my substances again. So they've been sitting for a little bit. This first one here was sodium chloride, salt. The second one here, zinc oxide. See it pooling here at the bottom. Then I have sulfur, copper sulfate, and finally powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar. Take a look at your chart again. You should have documented the name of each of those, the appearance, your observational properties, and then identified yes or no. Did it dissolve? You can go ahead and cross out this bottom section. We did the sand already as our pre-lab, and you should go ahead and staple this paper to the front of your lab book, page 33. Thank you.